I was born September 28th, 1994, almost 31 years ago, as of me recording this video. And you might hear this from every kid of every generation when I say that I think I was born into a pretty awesome time of humanity, especially considering where I am today. Having a job basically that is on the internet, but I had a childhood a lot like a bunch of people around my age where we didn't necessarily have the internet. I think people who are around my age, maybe plus or minus 5 years, are a really unique generation in the sense that we grew up with a childhood before the internet and after the internet. Now, that might be a certified unk status to some of you younger ones watching this who probably can't imagine a time period before the internet or social media or things like YouTube. But I think that's a big reason why a lot of millennials are very nostalgic for a time before the internet, during their childhood where things just seemed more simple. And I'm certainly no stranger to that feeling. I mean, if you can see behind me right here, I bought a CRT TV quite a while ago because I became very nostalgic towards video game consoles that I used to play, like the Super Nintendo and the N64 and the GameCube and the PS1, which just so happened to have all four of those consoles right behind that TV there. But another thing that I vividly remember from my childhood when it comes to CRT TVs is watching movies. More specifically, movies on VHS tapes. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, it's kind of like physical media. It was the physical media before DVDs. And I remember I used to watch so many VHS tapes. More specifically, I watched a lot of anime on VHS tapes. At the time I was living in Australia, obviously I didn't have immediate access by just flicking on the TV to watch the latest episode of Doraemon. So instead, my grandma, being the absolute boss woman that she is, would film all of those episodes onto tape and then send me boxes of it so that I could experience a childhood that was very similar, if not pretty much exactly the same as your average Japanese child living in Japan. If it wasn't for her doing that, I probably would never have become, the anime man. So I kind of owe everything to my grandma, my mom, just my parents for allowing me to be raised in that kind of environment. But that was back in the late 90s and early 2000s when I was still just a child. I am about to turn 31 years old this year, and it was then that I realized that I have adult money now. And hypothetically, if I wanted to, I could recreate an incredibly core childhood memory that is very personal to me in this very room with my adult money. That specific memory is the first time I ever watched a Ghibli film, a Studio Ghibli film. I don't know exactly which one it was, but it was either one of two Ghibli films that was my first exposure to the world of Hayao Miyazaki. One being Princess Mononoke, which in my opinion is still the greatest Studio Ghibli film ever made, and I don't care what you say. And the second one, which is maybe less of a critically acclaimed film compared to Princess Mononoke, but I feel very heavily relies on the nostalgia of the people who grew up watching it, especially My Neighbor Totoro. When I tell you the amount of times that me and my sister watched and ground down this VHS tape of My Neighbor Totoro that we used to have, we probably watched that film like 50 to 100 times. I haven't seen the film personally in probably 10 plus years, but I could vividly recount every single scene, every single quote from that movie. When you're a 5-year-old child and you watch something like My Neighbor Totoro for the first time, or any kind of Studio Ghibli film, it really does change your brain chemistry. Whether that be for the better or the worse is, your prerogative, obviously. But for me, definitely, it changed my brain chemistry in a positive way, and I got to experience this wonderful medium called anime in film form for the first time, and that really made me just appreciate the childhood that I had. And maybe this is just my unk side saying this, or maybe it's just my nostalgia talking, but there really is a difference between watching My Neighbor Totoro on a big flat screen TV at 4K quality streaming on Netflix or anything like that, and watching a 4:3 letterbox, probably 480p, 720p at most, on a CRT via a physical VHS tape. So I figured I'll recreate that right now. So I have gone ahead and bought another CRT TV. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, Joe, why did you go and do that? Can't you just use that CRT right there behind you? Well, unfortunately, as amazing as this particular Sony Trinitron CRT is behind me here, it unfortunately cannot play VHS tapes. It can play video games, it can connect consoles. If I put an antenna on it, it could probably even, you know, show me current TV, but it is missing one critical feature: a VHS player. And thankfully, I happen to find another CRT with exactly that component. This is like Christmas for me, boys. So I ordered this TV off of Medukari, which is kind of like a second-hand online app that they have here in Japan, because Japan is just so incredible when it comes to maintaining old stuff and, you know, second-hand stuff. And I've used Medukari actually to get this Trinitron as well. Obviously this time it's from a different person. Ooh. Okay, how am I gonna do this without potentially fucking this up? You know what? I'll just cut the box open. Alright, come on, baby. I've done a good job of making sure the screen stays safe. Alright, let's get you out of the bubble wrap. Ooh! Oh, this is so cool, dude! This is the Funai VC142, and as you can see, there's a little VHS player down here. I bought this off of a guy off Medukari for, I don't remember exactly how much it was, but it was pretty cheap. I think I paid like less than $100 for this. That might seem like an amazing deal, because it is, but the one problem is that I don't know if this thing works or not. I'm gonna have to plug it in and yeah, test out if I just spent $100 on just a cool background piece. Now, before I go ahead and try and plug this TV in, I obviously need to find a spot for it. Oh, if you're wondering about this TV, by the way, Aki bought this TV. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. I'm gonna have to just organize this space, I feel, before anything. So, cue the montage. Come on. Ah, Jesus. This thing is pretty cool, right? It's literally my grandma's phone. The hell is this? This might be one of the scariest Polaroids I've ever found. It's an incredibly blown out Polaroid of Aki and I in this room. This looks like a ghost, like, photo. Like, it's like one of those supernatural photos. Okay, what I think I'm gonna do is move this radio over somewhere, push this TV aside here so I can put it here, and then put the red TV back there. This thing is actually really cool. It's an old, like, 9-year-old radio that Aki bought from some random old lady at an old second-hand shop. It's actually still functioning as well. We sometimes turn it on just to listen to the radio for shits and giggles. Okay, I've organized it for the most part. We're putting it right here. Scoot it right there. Yeah! It is set here. I've plugged it in. Now we just gotta hope that this thing fucking works. If you start to hear a little high-pitched squeal, that means, you know, the cathode rays are firing. 3, 2, 1. That sounds good! You're shot! Oh, awesome, dude. Hell yeah. It works, thank God. I've turned it off for now just so you guys aren't getting flash bombed by this. But obviously, you know, now that we have confirmed that it works, we also need to figure out if the VHS works. And obviously for that, we need some VHS tapes. Luckily for me, I have bought some. Now, I happen to find another guy over on Medukari that was not only selling 1, but 2 VHS tapes And they were actually pretty cheap. The guy only charged me about 1,000 yen for both of these VHSs. And I couldn't say no to these either. So the first one that I finally have on VHS, and actually I never owned on VHS, is this movie, Castle in the Sky. I believe the second ever Ghibli film, well, yeah, second ever Miyazaki Ghibli film. Technically first ever Ghibli film if we're not counting Nausicaa, but who's asking, am I right? I freaking love this movie. I don't care what anyone says. Castle in the Sky, probably one of the most underrated Ghibli films, in my opinion. You know, a lot of people talk about Nausicaa, a lot of people talk about Totoro, Princess Mononoke, all that, but no one really talks about Castle in the Sky anymore. This is a really fucking good movie. But the second VHS tape, which obviously this is the whole reason why I wanted to do this video in the first place, is of course My Neighbor Totoro. I think I actually had this exact VHS. Because I mean, look at the back of this, dude. Is that not absolutely freaking nostalgic? Holy shit. It says here, hi-fi stereo, Vista size color, roughly 86 minutes, 4,500 yen for this VHS of My Neighbor Totoro. And, oh my god. Whoa, it even comes with the little pamphlet as well. That's so cool. Look at that. Inside of there is the VHS tape of My Neighbor Totoro. Dude. Holy shit. You know, this might be kind of cringe, but just holding this is, like, making me so nostalgic I might cry. Let's do what I spent roughly $100 to do. Will this play on this TV, and how will it look and sound? I've turned the lights down for this one for full effect. I love that sound. God, I'm a fucking pervert for cathode rays. Alright, here we go. Moment of truth. I swear, if this thing gets stuck in the TV, I will be very upset. Oh my god, is it working? Oh. Holy shit. Okay, I've changed the frame rate for you guys, so hopefully it's a little bit easier to see. Let's see if it works. Holy shit, dude! Dude, this is crazy! Holy fuck, I remember this! Where they like show a bunch of like this Miyazaki like Ghibli films to be like, this is the Ghibli collection. Oh my god! Look at that. Nausicaa. Castle in the Sky, 1986. Totoro, we're about to watch this! I cannot tell you how happy I am. Best $100 I've ever fucking spent. Best $100 I have ever spent. Thank you. Ite. めっちゃ懐かしい. I remember this VHS, they would show a bunch of previews of all the Ghibli films before the film started. They're doing Nausicaa now! Is this not the coolest thing ever? Okay, let's fast forward to
I remember doing that. That's fun.
No shade on Nausicaa, obviously, but I actually want to like watch Totoro.
Yeah, but Nausicaa is my favorite Ghibli film.
Oh my god, this is so nostalgic! Okay, unfortunately I'm gonna have to put the volume down because it's probably copyrighted, but dude, this is making me cry. I'm reliving my childhood right now. Yeah, in the exact form that it came in.
Like you can't get the same experience.
You can't recreate this in any other way.
When you watch these kinds of films, it just adds more when you watch it on these TVs rather than on like the flat screens with like the 4K.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. That's, I mean, fuck. That's the reason we have 2 CRTs now. We should actually test this out too. I wonder if I'll be able to connect another game console to this.
Maybe.
Let's find out. Well, I did a little bit more testing after that last clip you just saw, and here are the results. Both of the VHS tapes work. The VHS quality, everything, audio, wow, chef's kiss. Although there is an input for audio and video right here, I figured maybe I could connect another video game console like I have with my other Trinitron here, but then I found an issue. See, my Trinitron already has an inbuilt button that switches over to the game input, but this Funai right here, I did some research, you can do the same thing. You can switch it over to the video and audio input, but you can only do it via remote control. And mine did not come with a remote control. So yes, technically I can play, say, a N64 or a Super Nintendo, PS1 on the Funai as well. I just need to find a working, compatible Funai remote control in order to do that. Which I have a feeling if I search far enough on Metacarty and Yahoo Auctions, I'll probably find it. Either way, this is the best $100 I've ever spent. I am now gonna have to go around and start shopping for some VHS tapes, which, hey, I might make a vlog on that as well if you guys are interested in that. As if I'm already not collecting too much physical media, I just added another piece of physical media into the fold. But I hope every single millennial and Gen Z who is watching this video got a huge stab of nostalgia right in the heart. And even if you're not part of the same generation as mine, I just hope you got to see something pretty goddamn cool. I'm so happy that like physical media and old media is kind of coming back in a cool and trendy way, because it gives me an excuse to relive my childhood. But either ways, guys, thanks for watching this vlog. Let me know what you guys think. In fact, let me know what kind of VHS I should go out and hunt, because I already have a couple in my head. Obviously, a couple of other Ghibli films, a couple of the first Pokemon films would be absolutely sick on VHS. So yeah, if you have any like cool VHS recommendations, or if you want to see me go VHS shopping one of these days and vlog it, let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.